what's up, kind people of YouTube? My name is Ahmed, and this is Nihit Gowda. At this point of time, why do I bother introducing you? Why do I bother introducing you?
Why do you bother calling me?
Hi, did I call you?
Why do you come, bro?
Welcome back to another video. Here today we're discussing Haruki Murakami.
Yeah.
Your first interaction with Haruki Murakami was because of me.
Yeah. I think you gave me a copy of Novation Note.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction into the fantastic world of Haruki Murakami. Like, what was your introduction to the world of Murakami?
It was Novation Wood. That is where I started reading Haruki Murakami. It was the book was suggested to me by Sanit sir.
Oh, okay.
For the first time, he was reading Kafka on the show.
Okay.
And
Bro, what is with art students and Murakami, dude?
I have no idea.
Like, every art student you meet is obsessed with Murakami.
The thing is, Murakami is so wonderful, so sublime. Like I don't know how to put this in words. Like, I mean, the entire, there is this certain level of surrealism.
Yeah.
Like, if I can use the right word, surrealism. There is this surrealism in his writing that resonates with a lot of people, especially with people who've grown up around art, who've grown up around books, who've grown up around films. They tend to understand where this weirdness is coming from. Like for a lot of regular people, Haruki Murakami is just another author who writes weird stories.
Like cats are talking and...
Cats talking, and then you have Johnny Walker sitting and having a conversation with somebody, and then Colonel Sanders walking into the...
and when it's raining fishes.
Yeah, it's raining fishes.
Yeah.
And why is Kafka running away from his father? Like, I mean, if you know Franz Kafka's history, you know why he's running away from his father.
Let's talk about Novation Note.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I like that book, alright. I've always been a huge fan of the Devdas template.
Yeah.
Like the whole...
Hopeless romantic.
Yeah, hopeless romantic in... I really connected to stories which had heartbreak in it. And when I first read Novation Note, it was like Devdas on acid.
Yeah.
That is pretty much...
Like, I think that's the most accurate description of Norwegian Wood that I've read. I've heard so far. Like, I personally felt that Norwegian Wood was honestly, Norwegian Wood is one of my favorite books to read. Like, it's one of my... it's that book that I read every year once. Like, every year I've read it. Like, for the last 4-5 years, I've read that book at least once in the year. And that is where I go on a reading spree. Like, after I've read Norwegian Wood, I read about 5-6 books.
Murakami books or other books?
Other books. Because after you read the Murakami book and you process the information that he's given you, you go and read other books and you're like, अरे यार ये क्या है, ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है, ये तो मैं you tie my hands behind my back and I can still finish processing this book.
See, once you start reading Murakami, like you kind of fall in love with the process of reading books. Because you've kind of lost yourself in this wonderful world, these surrealistic worlds, as you said.
But that's the thing, right? His plot points are not surreal. It's not the fact, if you have to condense down a Murakami book, it's very simple plot. The plot is very simple. What is Norwegian Wood? Norwegian Wood is about this guy who falls in love
with his friend's girlfriend.
His friend dies. And he meets his friend's girlfriend somewhere in the future, and he falls in love with her all over again. And then she dies. That is the plot of Norwegian Wood.
That's it.
But it's how he describes all of it. Like, there's a very... Okay, so most books are narratives. Haruki Murakami is a descriptive. There's a big difference.
Like, if I'm pitching that book, like if I was a writer and I wanted to write the story, and if I was pitching it to a publishing house, it would be very difficult to sell it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing.
New about it.
Yeah, but once you read the book, you kind of realize what makes the book so special.
I mean, the whole storyline, the whole like it happens, like you don't feel the book passing you by. Like you feel you. I don't know how Murakami does it, but all the emotions that he brings out from you are genuine. Like when the guy's Toro's best friend dies, you feel bad for him.
Yeah, man.
You've known that character for about 40 pages. At best.
Bro, the devotion he loves Naoko, no?
Yeah.
The girl is called. It's some next level love, dude. Like you hardly get to see that.
Yeah. Like and the so you have Naoko and then you have the other girl.
God, I forgot her name, man. Yeah, the one who's older than him and the older girl.
And then you have the one that he actually ends up marrying.
Yeah.
So you have like okay, so right now if you haven't read Murakami, you're like, what the hell are these guys talking about?
Yeah. Bro, the ending, man.
Yeah.
Bro, the ending just hit me, dude.
Yeah.
Like the ending just kind of shook me.
Like also the fact that the ending is so unclear.
Yeah. Like you can read it in different ways. Like I think we had this discussion like 4 years back where I thought something else would happen. Like I don't want to spoil the book for you guys. And I was like, no, I don't think this would happen.
So that's one of the few things that I like about Murakami is that even though he's told a complete story, he still managed to hold off on a lot of ideas. Which I absolutely love.
Yeah. I think you introduced me to Murakami. After you gave me Novation Node, I was like, who's this author? I want to read more.
And then I gave you Kafka.
Yeah, and you gave me Kafka on the Shore, and that just blew me, dude. Like blew my mind.
Kafka on the Shore. So I remember I was at Blossoms a couple of years ago, and I see this girl standing and reading the summary of Kafka on the Shore. And I know, you've read Kafka on the Shore, and you know what you're going to get into. Like if you see somebody else holding Kafka on the Shore, you're like, no, do not do this yet. Yet. So I just walked up to her and I'm like, you know what, if you do want to start with Haruki
Murakami, start with Novation.
Start with Novation Wood. It's lighter on your brain. It's something that you would actually enjoy. You'll fall in love with him, and then you go read Kafka on the Shore.
Because if you're introducing someone to the world of Murakami, like Kafka on the Shore is it's like a punch in your gut. It's too much for them to handle.
There are honestly, there are so many things wrong with the story. Like I mean, not the way he's told the story, or the fact that it has plot holes. But you just look at the story and you're like, huh? Like, huh? Like from the fact that Kafka running away from the house, a talking crow, talking cats.
Bro, one thing I love about Murakami, there are no limits to his imagination. Like anything can happen in a Murakami book. Like it's just limitless.
I mean, I absolutely love that part in the book where he sits down with Colonel Sanders and Colonel Sanders giving him advice in life. Right? I mean, that was so absurd. Like, it was so absurd. Like, I had to think twice. Then I had to read that whole chapter again. I was like, what the hell is Colonel Sanders doing in this book? Why is Colonel Sanders here?
Like we were discussing with the boys. And I think we spoke about how it's a giant leap in storytelling. I think Murakami did that to books, man. Like it's the 21st century and like
I personally think Murakami is reimagining Franz Kafka in this century. Like he is heavily influenced by Franz Kafka. Like, and for the ones who haven't read Franz Kafka, please go and read Franz Kafka. Read his translations. If you speak German, please read his work in German.
I don't think a lot of our audience speak German.
Yeah.
Like even if one.
Yeah.
But
Do go read Franz Kafka and then you go read Haruki Murakami, and then you'll realize how similar their thought process is.
there's a lot of Easter eggs and
Yeah.
references to
I mean, the biggest reference is Kafka fighting with his father.
So guys, Kafka had a very troubled relationship with his father. I was looking at some meme. It's like Kafka went through so much. I don't know how he woke up in the morning. Like,
Like, now you understand metamorphosis.
yeah.
Like, how did he wake up in the morning?
And like,
I
as an
woke up
insect.
with a cockroach.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Arvind is sitting behind there and like, huh? ये क्या हो रहा है?
And after Kafka on the Shore, you gave me.
1Q84.
No. 1Q84
Was
much
I
later.
think I gave you Wild Sheep Chase.
You gave me Wild Sheep Chase, and there is this also this other book where her hair turns silver.
Sputnik Sweetheart. I gave you Sputnik Sweetheart.
Yeah, Sputnik Sweetheart. So by this time I was addicted
ready
to
for-
like I was addicted to Murakami already. So I've never been to Japan. I've not seen a lot of.
Like, from his books, you feel like you've actually understood Japan's culture.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Much better than anybody else.
Like you know what the prefectures are. You know.
You know what? Okay. If somebody dropped me off in Tokyo and said, okay, go find yourself, I'll probably find myself.
Yeah, so like you feel like you've been to Japan.
Yeah.
Because I think I've read about 6, 7 or 8 books that is written by Murakami. And I read Sputnik Sweetheart. And
Sputnik Sweetheart was a
yeah,
weird book.
yeah. I mean, all the books are weird.
I mean, okay, at this point,
Yeah.
Murakami equals weird.
Yeah.
Absurd. Like,
yeah, and do you think he writes his book while he's on something?
probably.
Like,
Even if he's not, at this point, it doesn't make a difference.
yeah, like I feel like he goes on some trip and he has some weird visions and then he puts them on paper and he kind of joins the dots and like book.
Yeah. Book.
Like bestseller.
Yeah. Have you read After Dark?
No.
I think I have the copy of After Dark.
No, I
I think
haven't
I've
read.
given you the copy of After Dark, or I don't know. I'll check.
After Dark is that book where there's a hotel and
Yeah.
there's this guy on a bike and someone is getting lost.
Yeah, and then you have this girl who's been in coma who's been sleeping for about 12 years.
No, I haven't read that. I have to read. I'm reading something, but I don't think it's After Dark.
You should read After
Yeah.
Dark. Because, I mean, okay, you have absurdist books, and then you have books that are weird, and then you have Murakami books in general,
Yeah.
and then you have After Dark.
After Dark, okay.
I read After Dark,
Huh.
and my first thought process after reading After Dark was, I'm not going to watch TV for another 20 minutes.
Okay.
I'm not going to watch TV for another few years. Because I'm not going to spoil the book because of the way he's constructed the storyline is absolutely beautiful.
I'm gonna read After Dark. So it was Sputnik Sweetheart, which was, I don't know, man, like,
It is weird.
it is a love story
Yeah, it
of
is.
some sort, but like it's just some.
Like if you were to explain it to Arvind right now, like what happens to the girl?
Bro, right now, no?
That is his reaction.
Yeah.
That is what happens to the girl.
Like he's looking at this other girl, like this guy's looking at this other girl from some faraway apartment and she turns.
Imagine Karan Johar films on drugs.
Yeah. It is a, like you can make a rom-com out of it.
But it's on drugs.
Yeah, on acid. And after this one, Sputnik Sweetheart, you gave me Wild Sheep Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Wild Sheep Chase.
You know what Wild Sheep Chase is? It's about this guy looking for one sheep.
Yeah.
One
So,
sheep.
bro, I find that super interesting, alright?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting
Yeah,
book, but
so according to the lore, there is this sheep and it gets into people and those people achieve greatness.
Yeah.
Like it got into Genghis Khan and he did whatever he did. So right now there is this whole like multi-billion-dollar organization
Yeah, just
which is looking for that sheep, alright? Because it got into the owner back then and he built a multi-billion-dollar organization. So that is Wild Sheep Chase. So he's got something called the Rat Trilogy, you know?
yeah,
Yeah?
I think so. I haven't read.
I think we've read one book from the Rat Trilogy, dude.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so and that book happened, and then I come to you gave me the favorite, one of my all-time favorite books, 1Q84.
1Q84
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. So 1Q84 is a trilogy of books. Like it's this book, but it's this big, but it's got 3 books. 1Q84 and 1Q84 I feel is one of the greatest love stories of our generation.
Where the protagonists don't meet till the end of the book.
Yeah.
They've fallen in love with each other.
Wild Sheep Chase is the third.
In the Rat Trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I.
That's
Yeah. And 1Q84 happened, and I was like, oh my god, like how can the world building in that book, dude.
Yeah.
So 1Q84 is also about parallel universes.
like it's set in 1984, but then you have her saying it's set in 1Q84 because does not feel like my world.
Yeah. Bro, I feel like Murakami is a huge fanboy. And he keeps referring to like how you spoke about Kafka.
Yeah.
I think he has great George Orwell
Yeah.
influences also.
Yeah.
And this is the book where he is kind of speaking about it.
Yeah, I agree. And like if you read 1Q84, you kind of understand what could have gone wrong with this world, but didn't.
Yeah.
Like everything, like that entire series is everything that could have gone wrong, but doesn't.
Yeah. So it is about parallel universes. So like this is not really a spoiler. So you know how the guy falls in love with the female lead in the book. No?
Yeah.
So they're in the school, and this guy is having a tough day, and someone is bullying him or something, and this girl. I think they're about 10-year-olds or something.
11-year-old.
Yeah, and she just comes and holds his hand for 2 seconds.
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's it. She leaves. And our man is in love with her.
And he dedicated the rest of his life in looking for this girl.
Yeah. So like you know in DDLJ what happens? Like he meets a girl, he comes back to India, finds her and all that. So our man goes into a parallel universe to find her. Just because she held his hand for 2 seconds.
People watching this video right now be like, what the hell?
Yeah. And the way Murakami is...
but see, that's the thing, no? That's the absurdist idea behind Murakami, that he takes this absolute weird idea and you actually want them to get together at the end.
Yeah, dude. Like you're rooting for them.
Yeah, you're rooting for the fact that this girl held his hand for 2 seconds. ये दोनों बने एक दूसरे.
Bro, like when that guy, when she sees him, no, like when they come into, like I was like, oh my god, like we were rooting for them through 2 books.
Yeah.
And when they finally come together in the 3rd book, when they see each other,
you're
like, oh my fucking god.
Yes, finally.
Yeah. And it's such a page turner, man. It's what, 1,300 pages?
Yeah.
About that much? 300, 400
pages.
Yeah. And it's such a page turner, you can't close the book.
I finished it in a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you also about it.
Yeah, because once you start reading it, you can't stop.
You don't want, like you wake up in the morning with the intention of reading the book.
Yeah, man.
Like नाश्ता वास्ता छोड़ो मेरे को book पढ़ने का है.
Yeah. And also his whole take on gods,
Yeah.
all those small people and them doing shit.
Yeah, like that.
Like, bro, I think in every book, no, he has a different take on God.
Like his, like I think in one book, I think in Kafka on the Shore,
Uh.
his take on gods is gods are cat.
Okay. Bro, like every book, no. In one book, God is a rat. One book, God is a sheep.
Yeah.
In another book, God is some tiny people coming and getting into your.
Tiny fairies
Yeah.
running around like this.
Yeah.
And then you have one. I think in Kafka on the Shore, it's a cat.
Yeah. I think in 1Q84, he gets really deep into incest, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know what his obsession with incest is.
I had no idea.
Yeah, are you one of those guys who believes that in Kafka on the Shore, the guy basically slept with his mother and his sister
Yeah.
and killed his father?
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, with Murakami, you can't limit yourself to
Yeah.
just that because he's explicitly not told you it's that.
Yeah,
It is possible.
yeah.
I do think he slept with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not his sister.
Okay.
It could have been a stepsister,
Ah, okay.
and that could have been stepfather.
Mm.
But I personally feel I think that was his mother.
Yeah, and he never shies away from it. Even in 1Q84,
He doesn't
when the guy, I think he has a thing with his daughter.
Yeah.
Because so this guy's a cult leader, no, and he has a thing with his daughter because that's what gives him power.
Yeah. And that's what makes the little fairy people show up every other day.
Yeah, so like some weird shit like that, dude. Like, but I don't think he writes it in like when he's sober, man. Like,
I don't think any. It's not believable.
like how can someone think of such absurdist notions about love,
When you're sober.
about relationships, about God, about life in general
When you're sober.
yeah. So 1Q84 was just crazy, man. Like as I told you with it, so like I've got like so there is Love in the Time of Cholera,
Yeah.
which is one of my all-time favorite love stories, and then there is 1Q84.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Love in the Time of Cholera.
Yeah,
I think for me it is 100 Years of Solitude.
yeah. Your favorite Garcia Marquez book?
Okay.
If a girl touched you for 2 seconds, would you search for her?
It's recording right now, so I'm not going to tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Because he's a lover boy.
Lover boy has contacts.
That's why I'm wondering.
Where are we going with this?
Like if you would
we
go
are
to
going to
that
Landmark.
Yes, bro, no. This is off the record. Cut all this. Okay, and then you gave me this one, Wind Up
Wind Up Bird Chronic.
Bird Chronic. Bro, that book is very personal, dude. I was going through a breakup.
Like surprise
So what happened was, so what happens in Wind Up Bird Chronicle is, so this guy is dating a older woman,
Yeah.
and one day she just leaves him. She just leaves him.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry when I'm laughing at his breakup, but
No, it happens in the book also. It happened with me also. She just leaves him, but she didn't leave me. Let's not go there.
Let's not go there.
Like personal information, boundaries,
now he talks about boundaries.
and the reason she leaves him is she says I'm not the person who I was, who fell in love with you.
Yeah.
I'm a different person now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of women say that, even men say that I've changed and I've become a different person. But in this book, she's actually become someone else.
Yeah.
Because of some incestuous thing with her brother again. Bro, like he just goes back to that dude.
Very weird.
Yeah.
The whole Like the fact that Murakami keeps circling back to incest
Yeah.
in some way or the other.
Yeah.
It's very
I think he might be some big old Freud fan.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
He's just an Alabama fan.
Quite possible.
Yeah. So.
Or he just flew to Punjab and came.
Quite possible again.
Yeah. So, like, it's again some incest thing. And she, so the whole, so this guy is basically looking for the woman who left him. And there's this well, dude.
Yeah.
And he goes and locks himself in the well. Like, again, weird shit happening, parallel universes and all that. And so I think that was the last Murakami book I
that you
read.
read.
Yeah.
I think you should read After Dark
Yeah.
because that does not have incest in it.
Okay.
But it has a lot of other weird things in it.
Okay.
If
Like, how can Murakami write a book without weird things in it?
absurdist.
Yeah. No, I've also read the short stories.
Yeah, I think I gave you.
Yeah, it's that red
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
And I also performed one short story
Yeah.
called The Mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens in that story is there is this night guard, and he is a night guard in a school. So one day he locks up the school, but some weird shit happens, and he starts
There's
he
this.
starts looking for stuff, and
Like it's one of those stormy nights where the door keeps opening. And
yeah.
Yeah, I remember
And,
that story.
yeah, so I had performed this in a storytelling workshop thing,
Yeah.
and in the end, he sees his own reflection, and it scares the shit out of him. And like it's not like a reflection. He basically sees himself, and then at the end, Murakami says the most frightening thing about it's us.
Yeah. And that is his take on humanity, basically.
Yeah. So it's a very deep short story.
Yeah.
There is also another beautiful short story he's written in the same book,
Yeah.
where this guy falls in, this woman falls in love with the kidney-shaped stone.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, you tell a story about some girl holding your hand for 2 seconds, and this guy.
And that story is 1400 pages.
Yeah, and then you write a story about this doctor's obsession with the kidney-shaped stone, and
And that's a short story. I want to know more about that kidney shaped stone.
yeah.
It's a doctor's obsession, so it explains why he's obsessed. Or
Yeah.
she's obsessed about
Yeah.
kidney stones.
Yeah, so.
No, not kidney stones. Kidney shaped stones.
Kidney
Same
shape.
thing.
No, two different things.
No, kidney stones are different. Kidney. Yeah. So.
Snehat is offended.
Captain Obvious.
Okay, so that's about 6-7 books. Like,
Yeah.
like if you consider 1Q84 as one book,
Yeah.
although it's not, it's 3 books.
If you consider that there's 3 books, it's about 9.
Yeah, it's about 9 books. You've read about 10, 11?
Yeah, about 10.
Yeah.
I have to read his latest book.
I'm reading something else, dude. I forget the names. Like even his names have become so like complex now.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can't really.
I have to read his I have to read his latest book.
What is it called?
I forget the name, dude. It's a 700-page book. It's hardbound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's.
Oh, that big one, no,
Yeah.
white one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to read it. I'm waiting to read it, but then it's this task.
Mm.
Like you get involved with the story, and then you don't want to do anything else.
Yeah, that's the thing about Murakami, dude.
You feel it like there are books that you feel you fall in love with, and then the book gets over, and then you're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
The thing is with Murakami, it's almost every book. In fact, it's every book. Every book that I've read of Murakami so far, at the end of the book, I'm like, I wish he had written more of this book.
Yeah.
I want to know more of this book.
Which is your favorite Murakami book and why?
1Q84.
Yeah.
For the sheer absurdness of
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah, and it has this weird. I don't know. It starts on such a weird note.
Yeah.
and he's written 1,400 pages of it. So and
She's part of a cult. He's part of a cult at one point.
yeah. So
Yes, he sleeps with the girl that he's adopted for a while.
yeah, man, bro.
It's weird.
Like, see, and I don't know. Maybe it's an
She
undertone.
gets pregnant because he slept with her.
Bro, all that is also is happening, dude. Like he's sleeping with someone, and someone else is getting pregnant. Like someone else is sleeping with someone, and someone else is getting some powers.
Exactly. And it's weird, dude.
Yeah.
And he sleeps with her. He finds her
Yeah.
in a cocoon somewhere. It's weird.
Yeah. So like, One Q Eat 4 is also my favorite book of Murakami.
It's like you slept with your wife, but your neighbor got pregnant.
Exactly, dude.
No, you slept with your wife, and that girl who held your hand for 2 seconds got pregnant.
Yeah. So it's like that.
You other put Arnab Goswami ka kuch bhi.
You slept with your wife, but after 2 years you turned out to be pregnant.
No, that might happen, dude. He might do that in this next book.
But after 2 years.
Yeah. If you wanted to adapt one of Murakami's books into a film, which one would it be?
On the top of the list has to be Kafka on the Show. And then Norwegian Wood. And then, if both of them work, then I'll have the audacity to do One Q.
You want to make it into trilogy or like a web series or something?
I want to make it a web series, like a
Yeah.
4-season, 5-season.
Yeah. There's too much content there, dude.
Like each chapter is so detailed that you can make an episode out of it. Aram se. Like you don't even have to do screenplay, bro. Like the whole
It's already ready, dude. Like even the cliffhangers, no?
Yeah.
Like after every chapter, you want to like go to the next
So
chapter.
he'll leave you with the cliffhangers, he set the screenplay,
Yeah.
he set the scene, this is what I'm wearing, this is what that person is wearing, this is where you are, this is what this person is doing at this time. Like the whole thing is sorted.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit and do a screenplay and all of it. You just have to be like, this one looks like that character. We are sorted.
Yeah. I don't think even Murakami can like write something like that again.
Yeah, no.
Like so, Ayn Rand, no? Like after she wrote Atlas Shrugged, it's like I don't think I'm gonna write fiction anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna get better than this.
Yeah.
It's only gonna go downhill from now.
I have to read Fountainhead again
yeah.
because it's been a while.
Yeah, we gotta do a video on that. Like I'm dying to do that video.
We have to do a couple of videos too.
Yeah.
I have to do a couple of videos with you.
Is this off the record or are we still recording?
At this point, it just happened.
Yeah. Which is your least favorite Murakami?
Wild Sheep Chase.
Yeah.
Because I did not feel as emotional as I felt with the other books. Like, even with Sputnik Sweetheart, even though it's a weird book, I still felt a certain amount of emotions. I felt bad for the dude.
Yeah. Sputnik Sweetheart is that book where there is some cheating happening. No?
Yeah. And then the girl disappears.
Yeah. Like for me, like Sputnik Sweetheart would probably be my least favorite book of his. I like Wild Sheep Chase because of the idea of the sheep getting into.
Yeah, I like that concept.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I didn't feel the connect as much as I felt with the other books. Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, peace and see you in the next one. And stay safe.
Yeah.